Thank you for joining us here on the KGB Graphics YouTube channel. I have a special request tonight to make a video about video editing in Photoshop CC. This is a topic that I'm learning about as we speak, so I'm not very familiar with it, but to show you the very basics of it, I think I can do so. A fellow student of mine had some trouble with it because he's never edited videos before, and we had a current project that was asking us to give the pros and cons of editing videos in Adobe Photoshop CC. Now, he was very hectic about it because he never used it before and doesn't understand the basics. So I was able to pick it up a little bit because I have some background in photo editing from broadcasting school and video editing and audio editing and things of that nature, and it all kind of works the same. The editor they have in Photoshop for videos is very basic. It's very easy to use. So I'm going to show him a little bit in this video on the basic controls and the basic things you can do with it. Not going to get too extravagant with it, but just a quick video. And for anyone else that didn't know you can edit videos in Photoshop, you can. And it's a very basic editor and it's easy to learn. So I'm going to go right ahead and get started with it. Make sure the first thing you want to do is go to your window menu. And actually, that's a quick time. Make sure you click on your Photoshop. There you go. And then go to Window. Already making mistakes. Not a good start. Workspace. Motion. Make sure you're under motion. Okay, and since my timeline is hidden, go back into window and make sure you check timeline. And that's pretty much the basic difference between the workspace of motion and essentials that you normally would use for editing photos is your timeline. Now the timeline can be sized to anything that you want to have for your work area, and you can do that by sometimes the trackpad is a little tricky, as you MacBook Pro users know. I still haven't got a regular mouse working yet. So you can put this any size you want, keep it out of your way when you're working, just by dragging, just like that. Now your timeline is where you're going to do all your video cuts, transitions, editing, everything done on that timeline. Okay? And just like normal, you have your adjustment layers right here, histogram, and you also have your blending options, channels, and layers, that kind of thing, just like in Photoshop. That's your workspace for editing videos. Make sure you're set up that way. It makes it easy. Now, for what you want to do first is you want to obviously add some clips to the project. So you go to this little film icon down on the bottom, click on it, and add media. Okay, so we'll go in here. And, you know, I'm a big wrestling fan, so obviously I got some wrestling clips that I want to throw together. I got a couple here from YouTube earlier, and I'm going to grab some right now. Just highlight it, of course, just like every other file opening, and just hit open. Give it a couple seconds, depending on how long the clip is. That's very quick. It's only, I don't know, a little over 3 minutes, so it's pretty simple. It'll show up here as a blue box. That's now your clip. And you have 30-second intervals of time markers on top to show you where you're at in the video. Okay, and the playhead is how you scrub through your video to find certain parts to edit. Just grab it and drag it along to wherever you want to make a cut. Okay, so if you go back to the very beginning, okay, and right here you have controls just like you would on a CD player or DVD player. These are all your play controls. You can also hit space bar to stop and play the video at any time. And this is the mute your audio playback. And here's some settings here for resolution. And if you want to loop the playback, you can do that. And your cutter, this will cut all your videos at the playhead spot. So when you position your playhead to where you want to make a cut, you just simply click that and it cuts. And then here you have transitions. So you can drag and drop any transition for crossfades, color fades, or any other kind of fades that they have available to you. Those are your basic tools on the timeline to use. You have video group 1 as you add different projects into your media. Add new video group, okay? And you want to throw another clip in, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to that one now, video group 2, video group 1, and you're going to hit add media, and we're going to throw another clip with it. That's going to be this one here, okay? And you just open that one up as well. So now you have two, okay? You have two going on here. I'm going to make this a little bit, drag it up just a little bit, and then bring this down just so I have a little bit more room to work. So like a little bit of room when you're doing on multiple tracks, give yourself a little bit of room to work, okay? And it's kind of hard because it's hard to move the desktop around. It doesn't really want to go anywhere in this particular situation. So you only can move the window. So you might have to move it up and down a few times throughout the project. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but that's That's just the way this is. It's not a real video editor. It's just a feature in Photoshop. So it's cool to have, but definitely not something you want to edit a full-length feature film with. All right, so anyway, we go back into this, and these are your 2 tracks of videos that you want to cut up. All right, so I'm going to move that out of the way for a minute, and I'm going to put my playhead all the way back to the beginning, and we'll watch some video, and we'll see where we can make our first cut. Simple as that. Here we go, hit the space bar to play.
Bray Wyatt likes to play mind games with people who can't handle the volume being turned up just a little bit. He's a manipulator who preys on weak-minded people. Unfortunately for Bray Wyatt, my mind is a very dangerous place to be.
Cut right there, my first cut. So I'll stop the playhead, and I'll go right here, hit scissors, and it should split automatic. Well, I'm not highlighted. Make sure you're highlighted on the right clip, otherwise it won't do anything. So you hit split, cuts it. Now when you cut it, it's going to keep both clips highlighted. So and if you want to move these, click somewhere else, and then click the clip that you want to move, and then simply hold the click and drag. Okay, and that'll get that out of the way for you. All right. Now I'm going to bring this one back a little bit to the playhead, and let's see where that picks up. And if we can make a cool, interesting cut there, we will. Spacebar to play.
Is a very dangerous place to be.
Goes black.
I don't like you and you don't like me. Now that that's all out in the...
So since we have that little bit of black on the front of it, we can cut that off because we don't want that fade. We want to start right about here. Okay, we'll just chop right about there and see if that cuts off nicely. And like I said, click somewhere else, drag clip, and then highlight this one, and then hit delete. And then we'll drag this back to the playhead. And you want to see if we can overlap them just a hair so we don't have any dead space in between them. Let's see if that works. Maybe a little bit too much. We'll find out in a second. Hit spacebar to play.
Bray Wyatt, my mind is a very dangerous place to be. I don't like you and you don't like me. Now that that's all...
It starts in a little too early, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring it down just a hair. Now, it's going to snap to your playhead by default. I think you can change that in the settings if you don't want that to happen. But set your playhead exactly where you want your clip to snap. It makes it a little bit easier for you. And we'll try that again. We'll kick it back here.
Bray Wyatt, my mind is a very dangerous place to be. I don't like you and you don't like me. Now that that's all out in the open, maybe we can coexist for one night. But if not, then that's fine. I don't care, because I have no problem dropping you where you stand right now and taking on the authority by myself.
Cut it right there. Another cut right there. Scissors. And it snaps it. And just move this down the line. We'll bring the other clip back to the playhead. And maybe we can pick that back up right where it left off. Let's see how well it works. So I'm going to leave this just a bit off so it kind of overlaps a little. Might need a transition in there. I don't know. We'll find out. Let's play that a little bit and see what it looks like.
The authority by myself.
Okay, I stopped it.
The authority by myself. Bray Wyatt thinks he knows me.
I don't like that cut at all because it's too jumbly.
By myself. Bray Wyatt thinks he knows.
The audio is a little off too, so let's bring it back a little bit. Maybe right about there.
By myself. Bray Wyatt thinks he knows.
Too much of a jump there, so maybe we'll cut a little bit off the beginning of this next clip and see what that looks like. If we can pick it up better, like right there. Let's see if that works. You got to really play with it. It can get tedious at times. Like right now, it's very hard to, it wants to drag that clip a little bit longer naturally, so I just got to move that out of the way and then click till it highlights, delete it, and then bring it back. And we're going to try to keep it right up against the end of the other clip so we get a nice transition naturally. If we don't, we're going to have to put one in. And those are not hard to do either. I'd like to actually show you how to do that and see if that works. And we'll bring this back and hit play.
And right now, and taking on the authority by myself. Bray Wyatt thinks he knows me.
That's way off. Let's see where our audio tracks are, because maybe they got screwed up along the way, because that can happen too. Let's drop these down Well, it doesn't really show the audio. I think they're just connected into video clips. On Premiere, you'll actually see audio tracks, WAV files, and Final Cut shows them too. And that's very beneficial because you can actually see the waves and how the sounds are, if they're over-exaggerated, need to be brought down. Over here, I don't think you can see any of that stuff. It's kind of either on or off. Let's just see where that cut needs to be made.
Right now, and taking on the authority by myself. Bray Wyatt thinks he knows me, and he doesn't. Nobody knows me.
Yeah, because you're getting the end of this clip and the beginning of the other one of Dean Ambrose. That's why it's jumping around so much. So you might have to shave the end off the top clip. Let's do that.
And taking on the authority by myself.
Okay. So if it ends right there, let's put it right up against that and see if we get it. Like I said, it could be very tedious working like this.
Dropping you where you stand right now and taking on the authority by myself. Bray Wyatt thinks he knows me.
Not bad. Much better.
And he doesn't. Nobody knows me. See, I can play games too. You know why I do this, Christian? You know why I do this? Because it's fun. I like danger. I like fighting. I like adrenaline. I like riding the edge of a lightning bolt. I get a sick thrill from pulling my broken body up off the mat, spitting blood and teeth, and throwing more punches, and I'm not scared to go down any dark alley with Bray Wyatt.
Okay, we'll cut that right there. So that's the end of the rant. And same thing as I did before. Drag and bring the next one in. Now this is just basically to show you how to do this. Definitely not doing it for any kind of accuracy or trying to make any kind of special project. Just for example purposes, how to cut and drag. And these are basic techniques that any beginner can pick up real quick and learn. So I mean, it's just a tedious procedure, especially on this program because it's so small. In your work area, you don't have a whole lot of room to do what you got to do. And it's hard to see what you're doing exactly. That's one thing I don't really care about in this program is the fact that it's so small and they don't give you a whole lot of options either. So it's just made for quick edits, nothing fancy. You know, let's try it.
Spitting blood and teeth and throwing more punches, and I'm not scared to go down any dark alley with Bray Wyatt.
Okay, we'll let John Cena talk and then let's get it.
This may not end well. You're going to take on the authority by yourself. Let me clue you in, Einstein. The last time you did that, the authority put your head through cinder blocks and you were out for 5 weeks.
So the clip kind of gets silent at that point, so let's see if we can cut that out after that one.
By yourself. Let me clue you in, Einstein. The last time you did that, the authority put your head through cinder blocks and you were out for 5 weeks.
Okay, I'll cut it before the shot to Dean. Bring it back a little bit. Let's see if we can find it exactly. And it cuts right about here. Right before Cena to Dean. Right there. Alright, well, scissor cut it. And drag it over like that. Put this in here and see if we can end it on this note.
You're going to take on the authority by yourself. Let me clue you in, Einstein. The last time you did that, the authority put your head through cinder blocks and you were out for 5 weeks.
And enter Bray Wyatt.
You have nothing to fear, Dean.
But if you could see, there was a little bit of a stagger there, just because our playhead was a little off. Let's see if we can bring it back. And if we can get that in there just a little bit better. Very tedious, but like I said, it's worth it in the end. If you really have the patience for this, definitely go for it. But you know, you can get Premiere Pro, part of the Creative Cloud. You can get all the programs for $49.95 a month. If you're a student, you can get it for $20 a month and get 2 months free if you pay up front for a year. So you get it free with the, I mean not free, but you get it part of the package. Definitely go with it. If you really like video editing and you want to get into it a lot, I'd go with the package. Pick it up, and it's so much easier to use than this. But if you can't afford it and this is all you got, well, start off with this and then work your way up towards Premiere. But Premiere is definitely worth the money. Okay, let's try it right here, see if we got a better cut.
Blocks, and you were out for 5 weeks.
You have nothing to fear, Dean, because you have nothing to lose. I mean, there was a time, though, wasn't there, Dean? A time when you did have something to fight for. A time when you had safety and security with the shield. But what happened, Dean? What happened? That love was ripped from you, and that security was taken away, and it has left you now like a fish out of water, gasping for air.
Got it right there. That horrific laugh. I think that's a good spot to cut it. And we'll drag that just like we did the rest. Click on the clip you want, move it down a little bit, and just keep on rolling. That's how you just do 2-track clips. I mean, it's not that hard when you're doing 2, but if you're doing like 6 or 7 of these, it can get kind of crazy. I wouldn't suggest that in this particular program, but Premiere can handle it very well. And it gets a little bit more hectic and chaotic, but it's definitely a cool thing. If you really have the patience for video editing, I mean, you could benefit so much from it, especially if you want to make short films or get into that. It's so much fun. I mean, I did this 10 years ago for broadcasting school. I made music videos, and I did a music video for Typo Negative, Black Number 1. It was 12.5 minutes long, and it took about 4 hours of video footage to get that proper 12 minutes I needed. And by the time I was finished, I was awarded. I mean, I got an award from the Channel 5 news director about how well I did with it, and that was the first time I ever used it. So if you have the mind for it, you really want it, you can definitely learn this and get it done. And there's so much cool stuff you can do with them. Let's see if that cut looks pretty good.
For air.
You couldn't ask for better than that. Did you see what happened there? When he started laughing, that shirt of John Cena's walked across as a transition by itself. So naturally, sometimes you get lucky like that, and in this case, we did.
Water gasping for air.
Except for that one cut of his face. That was the only part I didn't see last time around. But the more you watch it, the more you pick these things up, and sometimes you really get lucky. I'm going to cut off just that little piece of John Cena's face here and see if that makes it better. Let's see. I'm not sure exactly where it's coming from. Let's find out.
Out of water, gasping for air.
It was a real quick shake right there. Did you see that? Yeah, it's right at the tip end of it. It's not very long at all. I don't even know if we can cut something that small. We could. Let's try it. Let's cut right there. And we'll cut a little bit of Dean out too. I didn't really want to, but I just wanted to cut Cena's face out. But sometimes you have to cut a little bit into the actual video that you don't want to, just to make the effect happen. So bring it back, line it up, and see what we got. Now, was that the lag, or was that actually the way it's going to come out?
You know, like a fish out of water, gasping for air.
Got a little bit of a lag there, which I'm not caring for too much. So let's see if we can overlap it just a little bit more. It's kind of hard without the playhead in place. Makes it a lot better when you put that playhead first, and then you'll snap right to it. That's a lot better because it's a touchy program. I mean, it's a touchy feature on the program. It's not meant to do this.
Gasping for air.
That's when the audio comes into play. You got the little bit of
You know what, though, Mr. Ambrose? I got to admit.
Okay, so what we'll do here to get rid of that audio hiccup, that's what I call that, is the audio hiccup, because that's when the audio starts when it's not supposed to, and it just sounds funny. So let's see if we can cut this here. Let's see.
You know what, though, Mr. Ambrose?
Yeah, that's where I want to start it, where he goes, you know what, Mr. Ambrose, because that's a whole new thought process, new scene. Yeah, right there. And we'll split it. I know it's a lot of the same thing, but that's what this is. I mean, it's all repetition. It's a lot of the same procedure over and over again. That's what I mean by repetition. If you don't have a mind for patience and to do this, it's going to be very difficult to get through. But let's try and see if that looks good. I'll throw some transitions in too.
You know what, though, Mr. Ambrose? I got to admit.
That's a little early because you got Wyatt still laughing. Some people might like that kind of cut, not me. I'm more of a stop and go kind of person. So we'll go there and just drag the playhead and the clip back. There we go. That should be good. Let's see.
Gasping for air.
You know what, though, Mr. Ambrose? I got to admit, you got something that no other WWE superstar has. Something I haven't seen in a long time. Guts. The guts to say and do whatever the hell you want.
This is going to be the end of it.
Just remember, saying and doing whatever the hell you want has consequence. Because when you say what you want to a man standing in this ring that has got zero problem with dropping your ass right here, well, I'll put it so you can understand it, Mr. Ambrose. You're giving me a reason not to like you. Don't give me a reason not to like you.
Okay, cut it there one more time. I just can't stop cutting this thing up because I think the more you work with something, you start realizing that there's other options. And you might not know that at the beginning. So once you get your hands going in this thing, it's pretty cool. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get out of it until it's finished. A lot of things happen by accident. And let's see if we can start off where he starts talking. Yeah, right about there. I think I found out that Bray Wyatt is Bo Dallas's cousin, no, brother, which is really wild. So we just cut that out completely. We're going to be done with that, and we're going to end this on Bray Wyatt. So let's split the clip right there. Highlight the clip, hit the scissors, highlight the clip you want to delete, and delete it. And then take your playhead, put it at the end of the old clip, and then just drag the other clip right and butt it against it. And let's play it and see how it looks.
Give me a reason not to like you.
And don't you know what it is that I do? I heal. I healed Eric Rowan. I healed Luke Harper, and I can heal you too. All you have to do is take my hand. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose, Dean? I mean, your own father turned his back on you. Does he still send you postcards from prison? Tell me.
Okay, so I mean, you got a lot of places you can cut this up for the last clip, but I saw a little jump back here.
Reason not to like you.
Get a nice shot of them.
Don't you know what?
And then there's a little bit of stutter right there. That might go away when you render the video in the final, which I'm going to show you how to do that in a little bit. But let's see if we can get this a little bit tighter, just to make sure that we're not losing a spot there. Okay, let's try it again.
Give me a reason not to like you.
And don't you know what it is that I do?
Okay, that's going to definitely need a transition. And I can cut this out a little bit earlier, like after he's done talking, because, see, watch the mouth, and then right there, I'm going to cut it, because that's the little lingering point that we have going on that we don't want. So we'll cut that little chunk at the end, and then click it, delete it, and drag this back. I want to just pick up a little bit of the end of the tail. Like I said, you got to do that playhead on this one, otherwise snapping that clip is very difficult to do. It's too sensitive. Okay, let's try it again.
You're giving me a reason not to like you. Don't.
And don't you know what it is that I do?
Very tedious. Very tedious. See, in other programs, you have a preview window and a program window. So you can preview where your drags are before you actually set it down. And it gives you a more accurate, view of what's going on. This one here.
Don't give me
Don't you know what it is?
Yeah, it's definitely not working out the way I want it to. So, and I don't cut these videos, as you can see. We're working on it live. I don't think cutting these videos is going to do any good for anybody, because you're going to see the problems I run into, and the problems that you're going to run into are normal, and that's okay. I mean, it's all about trial and error.
Mr. Ambrose, you're giving me a reason not to like you. Don't give me a reason.
Don't you know what it is that I...
Yeah, see, it's too much on top of each other. We have to give it some space. Got to. And right there. Let's try it again.
Don't give me a reason.
Don't you know what it is that I do?
Maybe we cut off too much of John Cena, I'm thinking now. Let's see where that clip ends by itself, because I'm not liking it.
Don't give me a reason.
Okay, let's bring it in. That's the beauty of it. You can take this icon here and drag it a little bit if you cut too much off, and it'll always bring it back. So you don't really delete when you cut a clip, you don't really delete it forever. You can always bring it back with that little icon. You just hover over it, and when you see that, you just click and drag, and you could pull back any amount of clip that you need that you took off previously, which is nice to have. Let's see. I don't want to start this too early. That's been the problem so far. You can mess with a section like this for a while. That's how it goes.
Give me a reason not to like you.
And don't you know what it is that I do?
Not bad, not bad. Okay, so let's end this video. Well, end this thing right here, because we don't have much more to go anyway. But let's see if we can get this ended on a good note. And I'll show you how to put some transitions in.
I healed Eric Rowan. I healed Luke Harper, and I can heal you too. All you have to do is take my hand. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose, Dean? I mean, your own father turned his back on you. Does he still send you postcards from prison? Tell me I'm wrong, Dean. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, Dean. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Dean. Wrong.
That's where we're going to cut it right there. That's the end of the clip. They go to a little commercial break after that, so that's going to go bye-bye. And that's our clip sequence so far that we have. Now, I know it was long and repetitive and tedious and probably boring, especially if you're not a wrestling fan, so thank you for bearing with me through that part. And right now, I'm going to show you how to throw some transitions in here and see if those, make it look a little bit better. We started off, and the way we have it right now, it fades in, so we don't need one there. Just go to your transition block right here, and you have different transitions right here. You can use a regular fade, crossfade, fade with black, fade with white, fade with color, your choice, and the duration of the fade would be right here. You can actually change that with a slider. That's just going to be the distance of fade that you have in and out. Now I use crossfades mostly when I do fades. I like crossfade. It kind of blends real nice. So we'll take one, hold, and you just drag it. And we're going to find a place you want to put it. Let's see. I'm going to put it on this one here. Well, actually highlight your clip first that you want to use it on, duh. Then drag it down. And it doesn't want to work for some reason. I don't know why. I'm still learning, guys. You got to bear with me here, but maybe we'll leave the transitions till next video, just for now. Okay, thanks a lot. Sorry about that. But anyway, that's how you put transitions in. Maybe you got to have them on the same track. I'm not really sure about the ins and outs yet of all that. Like I said, I've only been doing this for a week now, and I just want to show the basics. So that's what those do. And right now, what we're going to do is we're going to render this video, because that's how you finalize your videos, okay? And the render button is right here. And now this procedure can take a while, because depending on how many effects you have in here, how many cuts you have in here, that's how long it's going to take to render. And render is just a finalization, puts everything together into one file. So we'll hit the button, just like that. It's going to give you a chance to name your file. And we'll just make this real simple name, I don't know, quick mix. And you could select where you want it to go. And I think that's fine. And we're going to render it. Okay. And when you render it, it's going to take a little bit of time. I've rendered videos that took 2 hours, 3 hours to do, so it could take a long time to do depending on how much stuff you have going on. Hopefully this doesn't take very long, and plus the computer you're on really makes a difference too. If you have a lot of processing speed, it'll go quick. If you don't, you're going to be in for a treat. You have to go and eat dinner or something and come back, and it might be done when you're finished. My computer's at 18% right now, so it doesn't have a whole lot of juice. So hopefully we'll get that going. I'll talk to you a little bit right now about what's going on. We're just showing you a little bit of basic stuff that I learned this past week. It was the first time I was introduced to video editing in Photoshop. I didn't even know, out of 15 years of using the program, I didn't even know that you can do this. And it was brought to my attention in school during design class that you can. And we were instructed to do a little video, not a little video, a little pro and con list of what we thought about it, and if it was something we would do all the time or not at all, and what we would like about it and hate about it. And as a video editor, from broadcasting school in 2004, I've used video editing programs, and compared to one of those, this is really not that great of a program just because it's very clunky. It doesn't really react well to, as you can see, how hard it was to put the cuts together. I'm just not a fan. I wouldn't use this to edit videos. I would just go pay the extra money, get Premiere, or if you really want to go the full 9 and go get Final Cut Pro, then that's another one you can go with. But those are advanced programs, so it's not going to be this easy to learn. You have to watch a lot of tutorials online. You're going to have to, study your ass off to really learn the features and functions of the program. But if you do, you can cut major motion pictures with those. They do it all the time. That's the editing software that a lot of movies are made with, and you can do the same thing. The quality is unbelievable. The post-production features are amazing. It's just a great, great program to have, Premiere or Final Cut Pro. And if you really are serious about getting into the industry of video editing, definitely go out and buy those. I would start off with Premiere, personally, just because it's a better value, and you have pretty much the same amount of tools and effects and everything else you need to make a great movie. So definitely go with the Adobe Cloud setup that gives you all programs through Adobe, that gives you everything they have for $49.95 a month. Can't really beat it. That's everything you need for photo editing, audio editing, video editing, website creation, all different kind of things, and that's your best bargain. It's not bad. Like I said, though, you could see my battery is draining tremendously. It takes a lot of processing power to do this, and you should do this with a full battery or at least plugged in. I'm not around a power outlet. Like I said, I'm outside right now, so it's kind of hard to do with a power source. So bear with me as we export this video, and there's not much I could really do other than talk to you right now. So, sorry I'm talking your ear off. But that's just the way it goes. I want you guys to be prepared for the time it's going to take to render videos. And this is the whole procedure from beginning till end. So it's not a smooth process, but it's a process. And do the best you can. I hope this helps out a little bit with everything you got going on. Probably should edit this video to where I cut this part out of it. But why? Lets you know what it's all about. I don't want to lie to you. I'm going to smoke a cigarette, though, while we're waiting. That's probably the best thing I could do at the moment. And if you're a wrestling fan, I got some wrestling videos coming too. I'm going to do a channel for wrestling because somebody needs to talk about this stuff. We don't have a radio station, which I think would be a great idea. WWE radio would be wonderful. And I do have a radio background, so maybe that might be a project that I would like to do in the future. Because I think that having a show that you can talk about aftermath of big pay-per-view events would be really cool. And have people call in and have their feedback going and all that would be really nice. Just somewhere where some people could vent about their frustrations of seeing something terrible would be cool to have, And we really don't have that. We have message boards and things of that nature and different fan sites, but to actually have a real radio station to where fans can call in and vent their frustrations and say what they want to see, and maybe the WWE can actually listen and hear it and maybe make the fans happy and do what they want. That'd be a cool platform, I think, for me. Take my radio background and put it into something I am passionate about, and I am passionate about wrestling. Wrestling's been a big part of my life for as far as I can remember. I was 5 years old when I went to my first event at Richfield Coliseum, and I saw Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan, and I was instantly hooked after that. Watched Saturday Night Main Event every now and then whenever it was on Channel 3. Stayed up late, went to school. Monday, still with wrestling bouncing around in my head, talking to all my friends about it. It was so much fun. I mean, see all those great matches at that time, the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, all the legends, Coco Beware, Junkyard Dog. I could go on and on. And the wrestling has changed so much since that time period. It's unreal where it's become. Like, just the new talent, the new styles. I mean, how the evolution of the whole sport has become so much entertainment now compared to what it was back then, which is really mainly focused on athleticism and just plain out wrestling skills. Now it's all about promotions and characters and storylines and drama, and it's like a soap opera. It really is a soap opera, and once you get hooked, it's hard to get out of it. And if you've never seen it live, definitely spend the money. Get some ringside seats. Definitely get the ringside seats if you've never been to an event, because there's nothing else like sitting up front and actually watching that action up close. And it spills out into the crowd. Sometimes you could be lucky enough to have it, right in front of you, and you could hear those slaps, those punches, those kicks, and they actually take a beating, believe it or not. I mean, it's all scripted, of course, but they do take a beating. And these guys put a show on like 200 and something days out of the year. They're away from their family, and they make a hell of a sacrifice to entertain us. And that's something I got a lot of respect for. Some people say, "Why do you watch wrestling? It's so fake." Well, movies are fake too, and we love movies. We've been watching movies for how long? And we know it's fake, but hell, Jason Statham and Crank and the Transporter, we know that he's not doing all that crazy stuff for real, but it's fun to watch. It's just like wrestling. You got to know it's fake, but you gotta submerge yourself into the storyline like you do with television and movies. And if you can do that, you'll really get a lot out of it. And these wrestlers, they do a lot for people. They do a lot for charities. They help a lot of kids out. They help a lot of Army families that are, that have veterans that are hurt, injured. They go and make special trips to the families to help them out. They go overseas to do a show once a year, a tribute to the troops, to actually bring the show to them. And I don't know any sport that does that. There's no baseball team going to Afghanistan to play a baseball game in front of our troops, and these guys do it. They pack up all their stuff. They go all the way to Afghanistan. They set up a makeshift arena in the middle of the desert, in a war zone, just to give the soldiers a little taste of home so they feel good. And it's amazing what they do. They get a bad rep because it's fake. Well, it may be fake, but you know what? The action is real, and the lives are on the line, and it's a great event to watch in person. So if you get a chance, definitely buy some tickets, go watch it. It looks like our exporting the video is almost complete. The rendering is almost done. I got 6% left of battery. I close that, and hopefully this thing will finish up without the battery dying. And it's got the little bubbles going around. It's almost done. And that's it. It's done. So we should be good on the exportation. Let's play it. Hit the space
Bray
bar.
Wyatt likes to play mind games.
And we'll see exactly where we're at.
With people who can't handle the volume being turned up just a little bit. He's a manipulator who preys on weak-minded people. Unfortunately for Bray Wyatt, my mind is a very dangerous place to be. I don't like you and you don't like me. Now that that's all out in the open, maybe we can coexist for one night, but if not, then that's fine. I don't care, because I have no problem dropping you where you stand right now and taking on the authority by myself. Bray Wyatt thinks he knows me, and he doesn't. Nobody knows me. See, I can play games too. You know why I do this, Christian? You know why I do this? Because it's fun. I like danger. I like fighting. I like adrenaline. I like riding the edge of a lightning bolt. I get a sick thrill from pulling my broken body up off the mat, spitting blood and teeth, and throwing more punches, and I'm not scared to go down any dark alley with Bray Wyatt. This may not
Okay, I think we're good. I got 5% left. I just want to make sure that this has been saved to where I want it to be saved at. So I'm going to just basically minimize that for a second and check it out. Because last time I saved, it did not show up on my desktop. And I think it's saving somewhere that I don't know about because I don't see this one either. And that's kind of weird, if you ask me. Because I saved it to desktop. You guys saw it. I saw it too. We could search it and see if we could find it. Let's see if it's saved. Quick mix, I think we called it. And show on Finder. I don't know what that is. Okay, so that's looking online, obviously. That's not what I'm looking for. Let's go to our Finder here, and let's see if we can find it. Because the last one I did not save where it was supposed to either. So let's see if this one does. It didn't save. All right, so let's see if we have to go in there and save it again. All right, and go to File, Save As, and let's see if we can change it. Looking at some kind of movie file. This is not going to work because there's no files to save it as. Unless you have to merge these. Is the only thing I can think of. Let's see. Merge visible. I basically screwed my whole project up. Well, maybe down here. Let's see what this does. Layers will not play back in the frame animation. I don't think that's what we want to do. But anyway, that's how you use the basic controls. I'll figure out how to save all this and have it all ready for you next time. Thank you for learning with me today. I learned a lot. I hope you did too. I hope you learned a little bit at least. I made a lot of mistakes in this video. It is one of my very first videos, so I think it's acceptable. And you saw it from beginning until now. I hope I didn't bore you too much. I hope you learned a little bit. And if you did, please comment below. Let me know what you thought of it. And if you hated it, please let me know. Tell me why you hated it. And please subscribe if you enjoy my channel. And hopefully we'll make some success out of this one day. Right now it's still the beginning, so we're going to make some mistakes and we're going to stumble a little bit. But maybe you'll learn something about the editing features in, Photoshop for video. And hope this helped you out, Timothy, and all the rest of you as well. Thank you for joining us on KGB GRAFX. And that's it for this video. We'll come back again with you soon. Probably be another Photoshop video before we get back into this. I got to play around with it some more and learn some more features. But not bad for after a week of learning it, right? All right. You guys have a good night. Thanks a lot for joining me, and we will see you again real soon. Good night.